and I'm not, but I just don't have that muscle.
Like, you're involved in endurance races.
Yes.
And I guess that's sort of what we were talking about. What's involved with that?
Well, a lot of training, depending on how long of a race you're going to do. I started, like with my triathlons, I started doing the sprint distance, which was the shorter distances of the discipline, and then I went from there, and then I gradually worked my way up to longer races, which requires more training for those. Just a lot of hours.
Do you do this locally, or do you have to go out of town, out of state to compete?
Do both. Not so much out of state, but out of town. You know, most of them are in Virginia.
What kind of road cycling competitions?
Well, there's like 3 different types of racing. I do criteriums, which is up to a mile. It's a lap, and it's about 6/10 of a mile. And different categories they'll have you do like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, until they get down to like seconds left and the ring bells for the finish. And those are pretty intense. And then there's circuit racing, which is a little more than a mile. Most of the time they're about 1.5 miles loop, and you do laps on that. And then the road racing is anywhere from 4 to 60-mile races, and they could be a lap of about 10 miles each.
What kind of prizes or trophies?
Wow. Well, like I said, I usually don't win, but the when I do get something, it's 9, because most of the time, I'm 44, and a lot of times I'm racing 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, and beating them. So that says a lot for me and my ego. But,
it really does.
Yeah, I've got one thing I'm real proud of was raced a 3-race series in Omnium in Roanoke, and I won King of the Mountain, and I got a jersey for that. And if you're familiar with the Tour de France, they have different jerseys for different stages. King of the Mountain jersey is white with red polka dots. Well, I won that, and it has on there the race series that I did it with and all that. And the first day was a time trial up Mill Mountain in Roanoke, and I got second place on that, but I got points for that. Then the next day race, it was a 50-mile road race, and there was like 3 climb areas that were designated that you had to race up the climb, and I won all those, so I got King of the Mountain for overall. So that's hanging in my little boy's room. He keeps all my stuff. I win a few medals, second places and third places from different road races and criteriums.
He's bound to be proud of you.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
You brought some pictures, and Phil's going to put them up on the screen, and if you'll tell us what they are as he does that.
This is a good picture. This is an example of the food at the benefit rides we do. This was one of the rest stops this past summer, and they feed us, and there's like 10 rest stops throughout a 100-mile bike ride. And this is the kind of food they have, so I wanted to show that, just the volunteer support. All these people are volunteers. They're out there all day long, and I'm not in that picture, but it gives you a good idea of what we get to eat along the way.
Yeah.
And now this one, this was my Ironman in Louisville, and this was on the run leg, and my wife was taking that photo, and I was trying not to laugh because I was just so excited. But that's coming off the bridge, the beginning of the run.
It's a good picture. It really is.
And now this is my favorite. That's me waving to my family. My little boy is holding this sign that says, "Dad, you are my Iron Man," and my number was 2164. Well, it was a mistake. He had to sign back, but my wife took the picture, and I'm in it, and he's holding that sign, so you couldn't have planned that any better. But that's my favorite picture of the whole day. And that's in the Ironman. That's the bike leg. I believe that was near the end. Retired there, but the bike was 112 miles on that race.
You look determined.
Oh yeah, I was going to get her done. And that was at the finish there. That's my little boy, Paul Michael, and he's proud of Daddy there. And I got emotional. You can see it looked like I'd been crying because I was.
Oh.
Yeah. Now this, that's a team I used to race for. That's me in the white helmet. And the guy off my right shoulder, that's one of my team. The fella right behind me in the white with the black shoulders, he's another one of my teammates. And this was a circuit race. This was like a 1.3 mile loop that we did, and we're probably about in the 6th through 8th position. Right on these races, you try to work together as a team and pull each other through and draft and try to block other riders and get your teammate up there to the finish. That was a fun day.
Great.
Thanks.
Really great pictures. So you are part of a team, a biking team?
Yes. Last year I didn't do team competition because I was training for the Ironman, so I couldn't dedicate a lot of time. This year I joined a new team, Dire Wolf Racing, here in Lynchburg. It's a team with great sponsorship, so we're looking forward to this year with them.
I want to come back and ask you about the triathlon, but you know, one of the things that really impresses me about what you do is that you ride to raise money for causes.
Correct.
And I told me that you ride to raise money for cancer and for MS.
Yes.
And what other?
That's pretty much it. I have done rides that have involved raising money for other cyclists that have unfortunately been hit in traffic.
Right.
Or just wrecked their bike and have had spinal injuries, and we try to raise money. Well, I say I participated. I didn't have anything to do with actually setting it up, but they'll put on a race and say raise money so-and-so, and you come sign up, and sometimes they have you raise money other than just a registration fee. Art 11, he was a cyclist, and we used to do a ride for him all the time. You'd ring and go do it in Buchanan, Virginia, and that was a lot of fun. But like the Spirit of Survivorship here in Lynchburg is a big ride every May. Lynn Green actually started and put on, and it's through Lance Armstrong's Cancer Foundation.
Right.
And we raise money for that and participate. Now all these events has a lot of sponsorship as well. So the people you see on the side of the road with the food and the water and helping you out, they're all volunteers. That's all their own time. So it's a really neat thing. And MS, now I do that, that's big to me because my sister has MS.
Right.
And she's had it for a long time. I'm not allowed to say how old she is, but she was diagnosed when she was in her 30s, and she's older than me.
Which is young for that diagnosis.
And she's got it pretty severe. And she's down. A lot of times she'll be in a wheelchair, and then it'll pass, and she'll be a little bit better, and then she's knocked back down. But I ride every year in her name, and I raise a lot of money for MS each year when I do that. And that's every June.
Is that the competition of the fundraiser that you're doing, that you've raised so much and you have a goal that you're raising?
Yes.
What is that? Is that for MS or?
Yes. What I do when I register, they say, what is your projected goal? And I remember the first, you have to raise a minimum, I could be wrong, but I think it's $240 is the minimum you have to raise. I thought, well, I'll go for $500. And I was new at Lynchburg General in the OR, and I brought my foreman, and everybody was so generous. I ended up raising $1,000, and I was like, wow. So every year I've gone up from there, and now my goal is, approaching $3,000 this year. So
I think that's wonderful, Paul.
Yeah,
I mean, to take something that you enjoy doing and turn it into something that helps others while you're enjoying doing it, I think is really such a special thing.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Cyclists, we're always looking for a reason to ride and ride with a group. And when you do these benefit rides, you usually have, I did one this past, July. It was 850 riders. And when you start with that mass amount of people, it's just electric, and
I can imagine.
You meet nice people. Everybody in the cycling community that I've ever met has been nice. I've never met a mean cyclist. They've all been nice and supportive. So.
Right. If anybody is watching who would like to make a contribution to you to help you meet your goals, how will they do that?
Well, today you can, but in about a month, you can go on, just punch in MS Society, and you can go on a Blue Ridge chapter with the first of the year.
Well, I just think that's wonderful.
Yep.
Well, this may be something you've already answered, didn't realize it, but the Alliance for Families and Children.
Yes.
Will you tell us about that?
Yeah, that, this past year when we were training, there was a group of us training for the Ironman Louisville, which was August 30th. You saw some pictures of that. One of the girls in there, Sarah Glass, she was the main force behind it. She works with this group. She decided, let's raise some money for the Alliance while we're doing this to help the community. And I think we raised a little over $18,000 for it. And everybody set their goals for that.